Hello, 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 and welcome to Shared Space with Quida and Chap. Chap, how you doing today, buddy?
I am good. Yeah,
You
just
good?
good. It's
Okay.
the weather's great. I was riding around with the windows down and the radio up today, so I think that was a vibe for a lot of people in Baltimore. We enjoyed it.
I was definitely out and about. I hit up the church at the corner of 3000 Hillen. We were giving out a couple of produce boxes. And by the way, I'm Laquita Chansey, the founder
Mhm.
of Small to More Homes. We build micro shelters and tiny homes right here in Red Lion communities in Baltimore. And Chap, go ahead and introduce yourself before I finish.
I'm just Chap today because I'm not wearing any hats. I'm just here doing the show.
You just Chap for the streets. All right,
That's
that's
right.
cool
That's
too.
right.
That's
That's
cool
right.
too. But yeah, we were out there. I left my coat in the car. I wasn't looking for my gloves or nothing. It was so comfy, cozy. I was loving it. Today's the weather was it was really good. It was really good. So what else did you get into today?
Well, today nothing special, but we do have a special guest coming.
We
Teresa
do.
Davis. Yep, she's been on the show before. She's we met on the HBO set filming We Own the City, which comes out in April 25th. Look for all your Baltimore people, not just me in the background. There's like over 300 of us in the background work on that show, and it was like a big block party. It was amazing. I met Teresa Davis, and she is currently a writer, director, producer with her partner doing a show called Kicking Indoors. And she is going on and putting everybody in Baltimore on just showcasing our people, telling um, our story through artistic lens. So we're super excited about the project she's been working on, and she will be here later in the show. She'll be joining us.
Lovely, lovely. And by the way, I wanted to point out the new background. Usually I have the background of the first prototype, but Jason Brooks, our awesome graphic designer, combined the Power Fest logo and the Small to More Homes logo. And look, it's a cute little house with a little angel halo. Like I think it's so adorable, so creative, right?
It is. I think it's a good representation of our partnership, right? That's our relationship in the community. We show up together, do things when we can together, supporting each other. Just like on the show, you know we share the space, we share the mic, we share love for our city. So yeah, we share the
Yeah,
logo.
I mean, with all of that being said, sharing the love for the city, like I said, out earlier today at 3000 Hillen Road, giving out fresh produce. They'll be back out there Wednesday at 1 and Friday at 1. And then Creative Influence and Reach Partner, what is it? Reach City?
Reach partnership. Yep, it's the name of the
Reach
store. Mhm.
Partnership. It 2555 Harford Road, Saturday mornings at 10:30. And there's another. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. What were you
Yeah,
gonna say?
I think Stand Mentorship or Empowered to Stand does one on Thursdays in Parkville. You have to sign up. You can find them on. We get more information. I know if you know Nicole Mosby or Tagana, Coach Tagana, or you hit us up, we'll get you the information. Thursdays they have produce. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, there's people giving out food all over the city.
and
But some of go ahead.
I that's my other thought I lost when I was thinking. But a big shout out to Rhonda McKinney and David McNair and his team, Rise City Church, because those guys have been consistent for well over 2 years. And I
Facts.
remember when David got the contract to give the food out right away, it was him and like two other women, and they did it for a solid 8, 9, 12 months before they even asked for help. And when they said, you know what, we can get more if we have more hands, and people showed up. And that's what I love
Right.
about Baltimore. You make one phone call and 20 people showed up, and they have been consistent for 2 years, every weekend, consistent for a long
Rain,
time, which
sleet, hail,
which is
snow.
right, and that's so huge because then it allows other organizations to send people their way. So it's leverage for other organizations. It also allows us to focus on other needs, well, because they've got the food on lock. So activities like that and events like that are so important, and people can take them for granted if you're just transactional and you show up in need for stuff like that. But significant that they are consistent for well over 2 years now, and so I'm really proud of them guys and want to shout them out a little bit.
No, absolutely. I completely agree with that. And I always say, just like when we're like at the breadcoin meetings and we're talking to Scott, I'm like, it's hard for me to have a conversation with someone about being homeless or unhoused or having housing insecurity when they're hungry. So feeding the community is a deep need and, a main necessity in addition to housing and clean water and, healthy places to sleep, all that great stuff. Yes, Raising the Dead Solutions. Okay. Hello, hello. Hey, Yolanda. Hey.
Hey, don't think
Okay,
we,
and Jason.
yeah,
Right,
and
we see y'all out there.
don't think we ain't forget. Donnie called Yolanda a bully on the show today. He said you've been officially hazed. Yeah.
You know what? That's how you got to get stuff done in Baltimore. Sometimes being nice isn't going to get it done, and you just got to bully your way through and throw some bows. You know what I'm saying? So, listen, Yolanda, if that's what they're calling you and you're getting stuff done, so be it, right? Like,
Wait, look, she's getting stuff
anyway,
done, man. And I tell you, I appreciate that group as well. That's on before us on Frontline News. I'm able to call them when there's needs that I can't meet or something in their arena. I can share their phone numbers with people in need, and they pick up and these guys will pick up the phone like that, and they're just like a 3-second turnaround. Hey, Yolanda, I need you to talk to Miss Lynetta. Okay, tell her to call me, and then boom, and then ball's rolling. So many good partnerships and so many good relationships in Baltimore like that are just man. There are a lot of them are unsung, but just know that the people that need to know, right? Because we call you, right? The reliable people out there, like we know to call you. So
right. Each and every time, because even if it's not
yeah,
us, it's our people or someone that we knew that we could text or call or ring or whatever. But yes, you can't think on an empty stomach. You can't think about saving when all of your bills are, all of the bill collectors are calling you and knocking on the door, or you're afraid your water's about to be turned off. Like all of those things are just basic necessities, and it's levels to this stuff.
I think that's where we fail our kids in school too. Since like back in the day, we all had our little favorites, right? But the way that things have evolved, the school meals are. I mean, I don't know. I don't eat them every day, but from what I see and what I see, how the kids react to them and respond to them,
Right.
they're not eating enough. Like whatever it is, I'm not going to judge the meals because somebody's working really hard to put meals on in the schools, and so not talk bad about that, but the kids are just not eating enough, and they're not getting enough nutrition. And so that's also how we're failing our kids, right? How can we expect them to learn or digest anything in their mind when they haven't digested any nourishment for their body?
What blows my mind? The old school. You remember that nutrition pyramid
Mhm.
and how it had all of that bread and crap down at the bottom. And it's like now people have gluten allergies and stuff has to be gluten free. And I think there's some correlation there. People, we were eating way too much bread and such, and now not to mention we don't digest it well. It causes diabetes. Like, who was that benefiting? Not the people that were consuming the food. It was definitely benefiting whatever food industry was in
Lobbying.
charge of
Yep.
wheat at that time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like it blows my mind every single time we're talking about food.
And we joke too. People our age, well, my age, because Quida's like 25 plus shipping and handling. But people my age will joke about how we never heard of anyone being lactose intolerant. Ain't nobody have no problems with the ice cream man driving through. We drank the crap out of some milk at school, but now everybody's
Right.
lactose intolerant. I don't know what's going on.
It's chemicals. They don't love us. It's all the crap that we're eating and that they're giving us. It's crazy out here.
Oh,
What is
look,
Jason talking about?
I don't know, but let's shout out right quick because we were just talking about them. Yeah, Miss Lynetta, she's having problems at Walker Daniels housing, and Miss Yolanda and this other lady, Miss Jaconda, picked up the ball and ran with it and said that they are getting them a lawyer.
Right, because it's necessary. People need representation. People need help. They don't know where resources are. Like we need to meet people where they are, and there's so many needs in the community. And like Jason said, some schools do recognize this, and they feed multiple meals throughout the day, and it's necessary. We know that during COVID, all the parents with kids in Baltimore City at least got EBT cards, and everybody was eating because folks was at home and they knew kids need to eat.
Yeah,
That's
well,
crazy.
some of the free food the city was giving away was
It wasn't healthy.
it was ratchet. Yeah, like the bologna roll up with the government cheese, like in a roll up. It was like that's a meal. I mean, we were struggling, but man,
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into that right now because what Baltimore Homes does is we try to show up in the communities that don't have walkable grocery stores or places that they can go and shop and get food in. Maybe we can create an urban garden and bring in some new soil. Don't use that soil that's already out there, folks, because if we don't know what was there before or after. Go
I
ahead,
didn't know
Chap.
that.
What?
No, I didn't know that. I learned that so early in building a relationship with Baltimore Homes and Quida and her people. I actually didn't know that. I thought, I'm out here growing stuff in my backyard. We're doing it. And what I learned was you don't know what toxins are in the ground if you don't get a survey, which costs money. And then you got to get it rehabilitated to use it for a certain purpose, if that's your purpose. And there's lead and there's all kinds of different toxins that who knew? I didn't know.
Yes, that is absolutely true. And that is part of the urban garden, renaissance that we're trying to create, just educating folks on how to eat healthy. And it looks like one of our guests.
That's right. As promised,
Days.
the great Teresa Davis. She is running around bringing Baltimore on, putting them on. And let me just bring her in real quick.
Hey guys.
Lady Davis, how are you?
Hi. Forgive me. I had a bad thing happen today, but guess what? That's under the water. I hurt my foot. We'll get to that. But hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Yes, welcome. So I will share a little bit of my experience if that's okay.
Sure.
All right. So Teresa has been filming, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, for 2 years, working on a series called Kicking Indoors.
Yeah.
I was privileged to film a couple of scenes with her a couple weekends ago. Met some serious Baltimore legends, man. Like, really, these guys, they do music. They were obviously doing acting on the show. And then a couple weeks later, I got with her again to do a funeral scene. I hope I'm not spoiling anything. Too late now.
No.
But we got together in church, and the group of people that showed up to be a part of this scene in her project, that have been part of the project along the way, and she's always adding to it. We had church, y'all.
Church
on the set, like it was so beautiful. And so many people. Teresa, I was so impressed with the quality of people as well. Like people who are really doing things in Baltimore and really care.
Yeah.
They gravitate towards your project, man. And so tell me, how do you,
what
how?
a blessing.
What are you doing?
What a blessing. Thanks for letting me join in behind. I hate when people are late. But I was at the center since this morning, waiting to get seen. And I'm waiting for my results. I don't know. My silly self wanted to play with the kids, and I stumped my toe. My grandkids laser tag at the house.
Oh no! See, and you get all the grace. That things happen, life happens. No one is upset. You are right on time. Go ahead.
I'm a stickler to try to be on time, but thank you for having me on the show. And I got to make up for the lateness and come back again.
There you go.
Absolutely. Okay, I'll take that.
So Teresa, tell me, how do you bring such a fantastic group of people in Baltimore together, man? There's so much positive vibes there. Like,
oh wow, are you looking at the ceiling? Look up at the ceiling for me. He does it every time. It every time. I'm bewildered. Listen, I've been walking around on a tightrope high after seeing everyone who showed up and what they brought to the table. They're being able to act, and also the real people that came. That when I say real, the people who had these experiences of what we were trying to convey about the opiate use, and losing the life of a loved one who was on opiates. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll share. One of my neighbors just last night. We're just sitting watching a movie, and the red lights hit the window. And we looked out, and my next door neighbor, man, OD'd on an opiate. We don't know what it was, but we know it's opiate because the Narcan woke her butt up. So
Wow.
I mean,
Thank God he has another chance, he or she. Thank God.
yeah,
Because people taking that for granted. It's not going to always work. It's something to have on hand if you're around those kind of people, if your family member is one of those people, but it's not going to always work. It's not. And you'd be amazed at the people who are mad that you brought them out of that high.
That's the most common thing I've experienced. In my experiences, yes, people are upset because you ruined their high, or that you ruined their suicide. Whatever was going through their mind, whatever space they're in their mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, they're actually upset when you wake them up with Narcan. That's pretty common experience for those of people who aren't experienced with that.
So that's
wow.
That's what my quest is, to create awareness to what's happening in our city, good things and bad. Whatever I see is what I like to show, because art imitates life. And I'm not one who go around just, well, I'm just going to show the good stuff. No, I'm just going to show what's happening in our city.
So how long have you been filming for this particular, I guess, this particular topic?
Oh, wow. This topic has been a part of me since I started showing art, since I started being a film director, since I started writing my 5-time novels. I'm a 5-time published author. And what I talk about is what I see in my neighborhood through my lens, which is my eyes. And so I always tell a story about what's happening with our youth, with our adults, with any type of humane. I just tell the story as to what I see. And I had a chance to go to Philadelphia and sit in on some of the NA meetings, and a lot of them weren't afraid to break anonymity with me, and they shared stories. And some of the stories I just made movies and films out of. I may have just changed some things, and I created and added some things. But yeah, ever since I've been doing art and film.
I think for me, as your audience, I think the most important thing to me when I'm digesting art or perceiving art, whether it's music or film or whatever media is chosen, is just to be genuine. Especially with music, it's easier for these young guys to try and create something they think people want to hear, or use words and rhetoric that they've heard before them that they think people just want to hear and is going to make them money. And I try to encourage people, like, be genuine. And there's so much visibility because of the internet now. Your people will find you.
Oh yeah.
Right. And it's I'm so grateful for people like yourself who can be genuine, and not afraid to be vulnerable, not afraid to look stupid, not afraid to look inexperienced, because I may not be as experienced as you, but you bring that genuine, when you bring a genuine honesty to your art, man, that is like the epitome of art, right? It's truth.
Thank you.
Yeah.
One of my philosophies is, when it comes to art, any type of art or platform, just like you guys, there's always someone who's there to watch. There's always an audience that wants what you have. Everyone in the world is not going to like what you have, but there is an audience that's waiting for whatever it is that you may have, and Chap, that you may have. So we have to realize that we're not going to please everyone. We can't appease everyone. We just have to give what God wants us to give, and He's pushing me to do such a profound story.
I think one thing I want to add is that, like you said, like, being authentically you, and Chap, like you said, being honest. If people tell their story, write their story, and not even explain themselves, but just share their testimony. So many people will listen, because in so many circumstances we're thinking we're alone, we don't feel connected, we feel like we can't share whatever step we may be, because Chap, like you said, whenever we start something new, it's kind of scary, right? And so we're already like, I wish I had done this before, I wish I had started sooner, I wish I should have, or I should have called this, I should have did that, I should have planned it. we don't know what's to come, and part of that journey is in the success. You have to go through these things to get better, to understand, to learn yourself. These are the things that are necessary. And I think that if we can continue to share our story, regardless of our background, regardless of what our goals are, we can continue to create communities.
Yes. Yes, sister. Yes. We don't have to explain anything. I'm not going to be held accountable for what I see and what I write and what I want to convey. I'm not a person who, well, I'm an RA, so I don't know if that helps out, but I'm not a person who explains themselves, especially when I'm getting orders from, not for myself, but other.
Right.
I don't have to explain to you, but I will sit down with you and talk about it. But,
Yeah,
I'm just not used to being that way. Like,
absolutely.
I think there's a genuine confidence that also shines through in what you do because you stay focused on high. You know that your work is God backed, because if it wasn't, he'll close all the right doors.
yep. And it
So you
wouldn't
get
be
it right. And so there's such a confidence though that comes with this package that is Teresa Davis, right? There's a confidence there because she knows, like, God has put me on to do this. Like, I'm gonna do it when she's doing it, period.
I've been referred to as Doni Glover would say, she's a bully. I've been called a bully. I've been called cocky. I've been called overzealous. I've been called.
There it is again, the word bully. Yep, we need bullies out here for real.
Yeah, I've been called a child of God, so that's correct. Because when you have God backing you and you have God, He's ordained you, He stamped what you're doing. You don't have room to have doubt. You got to walk out on faith. You got to have that faith the size of a mustard seed. You have to want it. You have to believe in Him. You can't doubt Him. So if I sound as though I'm cocky or confident, I apologize to those who don't understand what faith is.
And there's a scary side to faith too. Let me tell you, because you can also, and this is just for me personally, I know I'm supposed to do it, but I still don't know what to do. And you still got to take that step, because it's like, I don't know what to do, but I know this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And then something magic happens, or something spiritually significant, I will say, happens when you don't know what to do, but you take that step anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. All of a sudden, like, things happen that you weren't even thinking. Like, you were thinking, maybe I should do it this way or that. Things that you weren't even thinking about. God had planned ahead of you and primed for you on the way. And it's like, He's waiting for you to take that step. He's waiting for you. If you're watching right now, God is waiting for you to take that step, man.
Yes.
Woman, child of God, He is waiting. Because when you take it, then there's such a release of pressure, because He's doing all the work. He just wants you to start moving.
Yeah.
Right. What is meant for you will be. Go ahead.
I gotta share with you guys. I know you weren't there for the shoot. What's your name? I'm sorry, I can't barely see it.
Quida.
Okay, that's beautiful. Okay, so after the shoot was at I'll set it up for you. It was at a church, and it was about a young girl who OD'd off of fentanyl, and she was tossed in the alley as though she was just trash. And so we had a guest speaker, which was Pastor Malvin Russell, the retired deputy police commissioner of Baltimore. He's now a preacher, so he did the sermon. And then there was my cousin. Well, I want to say my nephew's mom. I call her my cousin. I feel like we're family, but she's my nephew's mom, and she lost our nephew last year to opioid use, and they threw him in an abandoned building, if you will. And so I decided to do something in light of him, but to change it just a little bit, so that it wouldn't really hit too hard with my family, but they would know what I was talking about. So we got her to come speak about the little girl as if the little girl was her son. It was so moving, so touching. And the sermon that Mr. Russell performed was his own words. I just told him the scenario so he know who he was talking about and what happened. And so when I left there, I know everyone that came in the building had to have left. And I'm quite sure you too, Chap, had to have left there feeling much more different than when they arrived. I got the spirit. I got a little Holy Ghost there, which hasn't happened in a year, maybe a few years, but I got the spirit. And I felt so uplifted all week after that mock service, if you will, which turned into a service that I got away with words. I got a pouty mouth, right? So I didn't want to cuss all week, people. Like, I was not cussing all week. Of course, I went back to it. I got to get used to not cussing, but yeah, just to be honest, I'm very transparent. But all week I had tried not to say a cuss word, though, Chap.
Listen. God loves us all, okay? We are of the tribe, and in most circumstances, I feel like we ask for forgiveness, not permission. We just go and forgive the words that may offend you, but listen to the message because it's said with love, right? Like, regardless of what it's said with love. It might have an F bomb in there by mistake or intentionally, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But it's still love.
Yeah.
Like, it's all love. So I think as long as we keep that in the message, folks will still hear what they got to hear, right?
Yeah. But I did cut
So,
down on some of it. But the gas is making me mad. I can't stop cussing.
oh my God.
I blame on the gas.
Oh, yeah.
I'm about to get an electrical putt-putt or scooter, or I'll drive anything at this point because the way gas is set up right now, we're going to have to do Zoom for all the meetings.
I work from home and I was going to call out, so I went to drive. Seriously, you work from home. But still, gas is high. It's high. It's higher than the hook and skirt right now,
Listen. Chat. You are so silly.
Come out with leotards on instead of skirts this summer because the price of everything is going up. I don't know what's happening.
Woo.
I was at the bank machine earlier and I was watching this young lady and I was like, nothing about her looks real. I'm just looking like, is she real? And she got out the car. She pulled her tights up. It was like it was a job. She pulled them up, and then she wrapped her stomach with this thing. She tied that. She held her breath in. And then she walked. I said, what are we doing, America? What are we doing?
I'm staying in the house. I don't know.
We got to get back to what's real, what's fake. We got to get back to loving who we are, what we become. We have to get back to not trying to, I want to say, duplicate what America likes. You don't like me as I am. I apologize that you don't like me, but guess what? You're going to love me because changing and modifying who I am to make somebody look at me or like me more, that's not on my list.
Absolutely not. Being authentically me and unapologetically me. And I would hope that other people feel the same way. Like, in so many ways, I feel like some of that stuff is like part of a mental illness. Like, I'll be honest. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's, but I don't know. I'm not a professional, but.
No, but you have a point. When does it stop? I don't like my nose. I don't like my lips. I don't like my cheeks. Oh, I don't like that little cleft in my chin has been there for 50 odd years. What are we doing here? These are things that makes us who we are. Men are putting fake beards. When you start gluing fake beards and you start gluing the things called a unit, I'm a hairstylist. A unit, putting on, remember, what's his name? From Steve Harvey. He had that unit on, no one knew for years. When you start every day, you're gluing. Come on, listen. I love a bald head guy. My man's bald head. I like bald headed men. So, but when you start gluing on hair and gluing on facial hair to look like something that someone else wants, we are going so far left here, people.
Yeah, it's like holding on to a former version of yourself, or sometimes a version that didn't even exist. So.
Never.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I'll give you an example. Here's my thoughts on this. I know we got some comments up at it. For me, this was articulated in my marriages. I've been married 3 times.
Okay.
The wife I'm with now, I've known her since like 7th grade or something. Like, we've known each other a long time.
Wow.
My first 2 marriages, people married who I presented myself as. They married me for as much as I let them see, right? Those relationships didn't last, and those relationships were not built on whole truths. So when God wore my ass out a little bit, a lot, enough where I could be a good husband to someone who, was good for me and I was good for her, I came back to Baltimore from Florida, and I called my homegirl, my best friend in my world, and in my life, and I'm like, hey, it's Pop's birthday. Come over to the house. I'm back in town. I got the boys. She came through, and being away from Baltimore for a while and having different experiences and relationships, she walked through the door, and I'd never seen her as a woman. But
Wow.
I saw the curves coming through the door, and I'm like, man, when did you become a woman, right? And Dee Dee's looking at me like I always been a woman, a-hole, right?
Go ahead. You terrible.
But I'll fast forward, man. But it's been a great journey.
Yes.
Evolving our relationship, because she was the one hooking me up with dates for like prom and ring dance and like.
Are you serious?
That's my homegirl. This is my homegirl I married. But the reason our relationship works so well is going back to the point that we're not fake. We're genuine. And I couldn't lie to her if I wanted to, because
she knows the past. She's the best friend. Yeah.
She knows what's underneath all the layers, right?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing that you can't really explain to someone, especially in today's culture where we're not building relationships in person. A lot of it's on the screen, a lot of it's disconnected. It gives you a feel of the lie of more connectivity while being disconnected, right? But my wife knows me so well. We grew up, together. She was my designated driver, like everything we did together as kids. And, I just couldn't, I can't even lie to her if I wanted to. I just can't explain how good that feels, right? Like, if I want to go out with the boys and play poker, my boy's like, hey, tell them we're going to see Lord of the Rings. That buys me 4 hours. I said, what? Watch this. Hey, Dee Dee, I'm going to play cards with the boys.
Right.
She'll be like, look, here's $200. Pay me back plus 25%. Don't lose. And I'm like, that's how your wife should have your back, bro. Like,
yeah,
I feel like you got a lot of someone. So, yeah, the genuineness is there that no one can tear apart, right? No one can take that away.
She was waiting in the wind, just waiting for her turn.
Right? She was like, "Oh, I see you."
I wasn't on her radar either. I wasn't on her radar either. And that's what's so funny is that we weren't really looking for anything, weren't on each other's radar, but it's just
but you knew each other's heart.
Yeah,
man, just the love there that and it's
that's beautiful.
But it's the genuineness that keeps us together no matter what happens in our relationship. The honesty and genuineness is what again, like that song says, let no man tear asunder. You can't. It's the truth.
Yeah, that's a transparent you guys share. You guys know, man. That's beautiful. That's a very rare, beautiful story, might I add.
Hey, look, Yolanda said that, but look, had I married her at 20, because I had that advice and followed it, she would have been my first ex-wife. So God's timing is perfect. God's timing is perfect. I'll say that.
You needed to go through those first 2 experiences to know and appreciate, to keep, Brandy, to hold on, to cherish, to really understand what that relationship needed to be. So it's all a part of the journey. It's all part of the journey. And as long as you just get back up, dust your knees off, and keep it moving. In my case, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's a beautiful story. And what you're saying, I piggyback.
Yeah. For me, in my case, I feel like I probably would have had to go to like couples therapy or something. I'm more of we need a mediator to talk through some things that I know about you and that you know about me. But as long as we're honest with each other, I think it will go fine. It's all about the honesty and being genuine, right?
Yeah. So you guys got your transparency already. You know what you guys like and don't like. And you guys don't have any secrets. So it's just fun. It's like that.
Right.
What was that song? Ooh, I wanna go. And he's not trying to date. When he puts the ad in the paper, he's trying to date somebody, and his wife answers the ad. She don't know it's him.
And that is funny.
Yeah, they love each other, and they both like what they both put in the ad. And then they go on a date, they meet up, and it's them. And they're like, what are you doing here? It's like, what are you doing here? I didn't know you like to do this. I didn't know you like to do that. So
they learned each other without being in front of one another.
Yeah. So
that's interesting.
Back then we had the paper. Remember we did the ad in the paper if you like somebody something.
The wanted ad.
Yeah, Dear Abby and all that. But he actually
Do
ended
they
up dating who he
do
was
they
already.
still do those? Because I think you're dating yourself there.
I
Don't think
can't
you
see the
swipe right
I
now.
saw it on the TV show this one time. That's my
uh-huh.
story, and I'm sticking to it.
But that's the artistic lens, right? Because now nobody does that no more.
How do you see the questions? I don't see the questions. You see the questions or no one else?
Oh
No, so his question was, what were you asking, Chap? Do people still actually post those types
oh yeah.
of
Do people?
ads,
I'll just
right?
ask you. Do people still do the personal ads in the paper?
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't know. This computer stuff has. I've never dated from social media. You've met my man James,
Mhm.
right? You met James.
Mhm.
I met him in person, and it was 3 years after my divorce. I had been dating, and he hadn't been dating. He had a divorce. I think his was 2 years after, and we met filming, doing what I do, and filming in the arena and doing what he does, and we talked on the phone for like a year, something like you and your wife. We talked on the phone for like a year about what we film and what we do. And then one day I was like, "Do you have a girlfriend or you have a woman or someone in your life?" He was like, "No, do you?" I was like, "No, I just got divorced 3 years ago." So then we just started talking. The next thing you know, a year later we're dating, and then we've been going together for our anniversary is coming up 4 years.
How
So
about that? And so, do you two still work together? Do you find yourself working together often?
yeah, well, he's a co-producer of this project, and we do a lot of other things together. But yeah, and he lives somewhere else. He lives 3 hours outside of me, so we see each other every other weekend, which is wonderful for me because I'm busy and I just like the wait on someone. Like, oh, look who's coming.
Mhm.
I don't know if I want to be bogged down like every day. I see you.
Right.
Every
It gives you a
I see
chance to
you.
miss somebody. It gives you a
Yeah,
chance to
Yeah.
miss them. And then that time spent together is like cherished in that little box. And you can go back to life and grinding it out like you normally do. So, yeah, I understand that dynamic.
yeah, I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Now, when COVID came, it was kind of weird. We hadn't saw each other for a year, but we were on the phone every day, and that was weird because we didn't film or anything. But it was fun. Like it's like he was here.
Right. Right. So, let's see. Yolanda is asking. She wants to talk to you later on, Miss Teresa. She is saying that she wants to write a sitcom and she needs some help.
Oh,
And you the one. You're the
okay. I can tell you
one.
what
You're the
I did. I can
resource.
tell you what God instructed me to do. A lot of my stuff goes on YouTube, but I never did a sitcom, but it's the same thing. We laugh on here a little bit, and the rest is more drama. But yeah, it's not much difference. I
You
will tell
say
you
it's
this,
not much difference,
right?
but starting from scratch, yeah. So whatever wealth of knowledge, I'm sure Yolanda's like, pour it into me, spill the tea,
Yeah,
sis.
So,
Still take
oh,
it.
can we share your IG? Can we share your IG information?
sure,
All right.
sure. I follow back too. After I look at your page, I make sure there's no thongs and all that because I see enough of that every time I stroll. And yeah, then I follow back. It's being
So your IG, and how do people get your books? I heard you say you are a 5-time
Oh yeah.
author, right?
hmm yeah. You can go to Kindle or you can go to your Amazon.com, and just put my name in, and my books are listed.
Awesome,
I have
awesome.
books like Ghetto Misery Uncut, Pistol Whip, Ghetto Misery Uncut, Street Landlords. There's one
Ooh.
called Dope Dick. It's about
Ooh.
drug use in Baltimore. And I think that I covered all five. Did I?
Street
Hysterectomy in the Hood.
landlord sounds spicy.
Yeah, Hysterectomy in the Hood. That's one of my favorites. It's about a young girl
Ooh.
who was on drugs, and so was her mother, and they ultimately meet up, and something happens. So yes,
Yeah.
Hysterectomy in the Hood. So yeah.
So I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yesterday, so this weekend, my son works at a pizza shop now a couple weeks. He's learning to do that. So I was like, you know what? You should watch Do the Right Thing. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I said, yeah, you should watch Do the Right Thing. He loves movies. He loves like it might take him 4 hours to get through an hour and a half movie because he pauses it, rewatches scenes. He's really into watching movies.
Yeah.
And so he's watching, and so he watched Do the Right Thing for the first time, right? And he's like, Dad, that was so raw. That was so it was like a raw truth. He's like really digging it. He'd never heard of it before. And I was like, yeah, Spike Lee's, getting put a lot of people on, and just like you're doing. and put together a great group of
He's
people,
one of the
amount of
greats.
people. Yeah. And so my question to you is like, what are some of your top movies that influenced you along the way? And I'm sure you have a list of like 100 top movies because you're a film person.
Oh my God.
It all depends, right?
We don't have time. I'll tell you one I really like. The Green Mile. I referenced that the other day at the funeral scene because a lot of people they feel as though they have to talk in order to be respected as an actor or an actor.
That was a good lesson, actually. Yeah, that was a great lesson in acting, like embodiment. I'd never heard of that. I didn't know what it was till you broke it down through that film. So that was like an excellent lesson. Yeah.
And Green Mile does that. Like Malcolm Duncan, he just walks around with this big body, and his body says everything. Then he
right, his presence is just it like fills the room. And
Yeah.
Donnie's saying that you have some murals too. Where are these murals at? Tell us more about that.
Oh, Donnie's on the show with us.
He's chatting.
He's chatting in the comments.
I just love you, Donnie. Anyway,
he's on Facebook.
Yeah, he's a connector. I love him. My murals for the movie are throughout the city. There's one on Druid Hill and North Avenue. There's another on Preston Street and Milton Avenue, and there's one adjacent to it, right across from it, that we put at the Peace Park, and we did that as something to make the park, lighten up. And then there's another right around the corner on it's on Bradford and Biddle. And that's for the kids in the neighborhood and the basketball association with my friend, Mr. Greg Branch. He has a basketball association that they have every year at the Dome down in Baltimore. And so that should be, I think, 4 if I named all of them, if I'm right. But we have more this summer coming. What we did was we put a lot of the actors and actresses on the wall, and we showed some true characters from the movie in their light, how they are in the movie.
Can do you want to shout out any actors?
Oh my God, you can get me in trouble with a list like that.
Okay, we have to have you back on. So get through some of the list, and we'll get you back on to finish it for sure.
I tell you, the musicians are beautiful. God bless you. The musicians, they make the movie move. We have Gov, The Mansion. We have Terry Moody. We have Lamont Moody. We have E Plus from Florida that sends music. And we have Ray Luger. We have Moth the Sun. There are a lot of people who are donating their music. We have a lot of rappers here in Baltimore who are donating their music because I believe that a movie doesn't need just rap. A movie needs instruments. So shout out to all the composers who actually make the music for the scene. And as far as the actors, there are many. So I'm going to start with some of the main characters that can help me out. So that would be Tina Kelly. That would be Stephen Kelly. That would be Gregory Branch. That would be the co-producer as well, James Pope. That would be Myron Higgins. Myself, I'm one of the main actors. Dark Dial, and someone named Moon. She never says a real name, but her name is Moon, and she just came aboard a few months ago. And then it's a lot of people.
Are you sure that's not her real name? Because I think I've met Moon.
Yeah, that's not her real name. It's on her paper.
Right.
But
I think she tried to sell me on that. That was her real name.
Yeah, right. So, well, her paper.
How do you find the actors, or how do they find you? How does that work? If someone's listening now and they're like, "Oh my God, this sounds amazing. I would love to be a part of one of these projects." How would they even start to get involved?
Well, social media is a real thing. It's not always used for things that aren't right or fish or catfish, but it's a real thing. So a lot of people they DM me, they send me their photos, they send me their contact. A lot of actors come towards me on there. And then there are some people who I just meet that I call characters because we all have a character in us. We have several characters in us. I meet them on the street. I meet them when I'm filming. They walk up to me and they ask me, could they be a part? And I get their number and I call them and they say, you really called? And they really come. And I meet people somewhere by way of God. Sometimes I was just in a restaurant and I just turned around and I heard this man talking. And I was like, oh my God, he sounds so, I would love to see his face. I turns around and he's like, hey. So I told him what I do. He's like, I always want to be an actor. I want to scratch it off my list. And he's still on the show today. So
through life. Okay. Understood. Through life and reach out. Like a closed mouth won't get fed. So you said you check your DMs. We put up Miss Davis's at Teresa Davis on Instagram. So y'all, if people are out there and they're listening, like this is a chance to make your breakthrough right here in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And all of these places, like who knew you were responsible for all of these different murals or at least incorporating them in your work? I
Oh,
live in East Baltimore, right there. I can see Johns Hopkins right out my window.
oh,
So
wow.
I'm like, oh, I know where that is. I
Mm-hmm.
know where that is too.
That's where I was
Are
born.
you okay? So are you still in East Baltimore now, or is this
Of
just
course
where
I
you
am.
tend to focus your work? I
Yes.
love it. I
Yes,
love it.
I go over West too. West has definitely embraced me. Pennsylvania and North Avenue, we're in the trenches. We go where they say no man's gone before. So we're over there with those people, and some of them want to act, some of them want to change their lives. I met a young lady who is on, I think she's on Percocets, and she has really lightened up on them. She's not off of them, we know that, but she's lightened up, and she's liking the fact that she's acting, and we let her be a mock scene where she overdoses, but she actually is going to a recovery center, and that's what she wants to incorporate in her life. So that's helping her to get clean, and we're excited about helping her.
I love that. I love that. And I think that if people were to understand, if we were able to meet like those basic needs, then people can think about, thriving. Because right now in survival mode, it's hard to think about being financially fit and filling out all the paperwork that you got to fill out and all these things when your stomach is hurting and you're hungry and you don't have a roof over your head and you
Mm-hmm.
don't know where your next meal is going to come from. All of those things are more important than thinking about what you did or didn't do and what paperwork is due and just meeting those basic needs. So I think that giving her the job, right? Like giving her that opportunity, allowing her to explore that new creativity even. And I think that that's an inspiration. That's a goal.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
it's been tough though, Quita, because there's a substance here. We're talking about drug use. We're talking about
It's
it's
addiction.
been tough when working with her because sometimes she doesn't come through, and sometimes she stands me up. She stood me up twice. So
Oh no.
because I have patience. But it
Hmm.
is tough. I don't want to seem like I don't want to lie to you. There are times I'm like, what am I doing here? Then there's times that she's been clean. I walk right past her, didn't even notice her. So
Didn't
it's
know.
tough
Right.
when you are running a business and you're trying to run a corporation, and then here we go, you're not showing. So a lot of people will not do that, what I'm doing, just to let you know. They're
Right.
like, well,
That
we're not putting up with
empathetic
this.
heart.
But I do have a heart. I'm trying to help this young lady, and she's a great actress too. It's in her. And some people just want to do their bucket list. Some people just don't want to die or leave here without trying to do everything they sought out to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like Yolanda said, you gave her something to look forward to. Life
I
over
can't hear.
substance.
I think I gotta go back out and come back in. I'm gonna try it.
Uh-oh, is it me, chat?
Can you hear
No.
me?
Yes,
Okay.
we can hear you.
Okay, wait. Let's
All
go.
right, here we go with the shuffle. Well, one thing I'd like to share is that what I've discovered in the past couple years of even doing the show and talking to our guests. Well, let's see. Let's get Teresa back on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear us, Teresa?
There we go.
Okay, so
Oh,
I was
okay.
just sharing what I've learned over the past I guess year we've been doing the show from you, from other people we've met in the community who are artists. I've learned that, and it's a really beautiful thing. But if we pay attention to you guys, everything you do is your life is art, right? So we tend to pigeonhole someone to the media that they're successful at or that we know them from. So if you're a painter, I'm only going to think, oh, that's Tammy the painter. Even though Tammy
Right,
might make music, she might do all these other things. For you, I always think Teresa Davis, the film person, right? But
right.
we need to understand like these artists that we're talking to, like Teresa Davis, and like what was the guy's name? The tattoo guys were great. We had a lot of great artists. Ryan's wife. Um, they're artists in everything you do, and there's a beauty and a passion and a genuineness to everything you do, not just the media that we know you for.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's important as right artists are full people. Mr. Hannibal said, Hannibal. I'm sorry, William. So that's something I think I try to extend and amplify that message to, especially the kids, as we're introducing them to art and showing them the world around them, is that like my son's very artistic in what he does. And what I try to point out to him is that, look at you, you're working at a pizza shop making pizzas, but even like making the pizzas, you're like creating, you're artful about it, right? He's very attentive to the details, and like he wants things to be a specific way. And I'm like, you're an artist, not just in your film editing, not just in your pictures and stuff, but at your job, right? And in your relationships. And it's just really interesting to come to this like enlightenment in my age. And I'm trying to get these young guys to get it now, because it just makes life so joyful to watch all of these artists in the community embracing who they are, their imperfections, and just embracing who they are, not being something they think they're supposed to be.
Oh yeah.
But embracing who they are, and then filling in the gaps, and really producing success around them, and encouraging and inspiring other people, right? It's a privilege to have like a front row seat to that in Baltimore right now, because it's happening all over the place.
Baltimore is really, really swelling up like a bowl of oodles or noodles. It's swelling up. People are coming here for all of our delights, all of our talent. Despite what they say abroad about us, they keep coming here. Wonder why.
That's right.
You know why they keep coming here?
Because
of people like you. Right. Come on. Because of people like you and Chap and all the other people that show up for Baltimore each and every time. The interesting thing, though, is Baltimore really does have like a population decline, and we need to figure out how to get more people here and get them to stay here, like in perpetuity, like be a part of our ecosystem, be a part of our community. Don't just come in, stay a couple years, flip it and turn it into a rental property, and then go to DC or whatever it is that folks are doing these days. I don't know what it is. That was just speculation, but stay your butt here and help us build, okay?
Let me ask you this, Quida. I got a question for you. So since you said that, and you too, Chap, how do you feel when people leave here to go these other places that, they seem so beautiful, the grass is greener on the other side type of thing, and then they get there and they don't like it? But you talk so bad about it when you were there. Yeah, I'm sick of Baltimore. Blah, blah, blah. Do we let those people come back easily? What do we do when they come back?
We welcome them back with open arms, because at the end of the day, we knew they were going to come back.
I'm that person, because I was out here doing my thing, and I ended up just hating everything about Baltimore. I tell people, a nice place to visit. You don't want to live there. I turned my life around. I turned my life around, did a 180, joined the military. I like really went straight edge, and it was a total 180 from my lifestyle prior. And I thought I was out. I made it out. I had a successful job in the Navy. I was a nuclear mechanical engineer.
Wow.
And then when everything fell apart, I came back. And when I came back, my city embraced me. So I am that guy who talked trash. And you know what? When I came back, my city embraced me, and I remember what it was like to be from Baltimore and to be loved. Even if I'm like, we don't cuss on the show, but Baltimore is a thing. Like, somebody can be like, fuck you. And you're like, you know what? I love you.
I love you back. It's B-Boy, baby.
Baltimore is a whole vibe. Now, listen, I don't want to cut y'all off, but Robert is about to be on in about literally 20 seconds, right? Isn't he right after us, Chap?
Yep.
Yeah, so thank you for coming out.
Thanks.
God bless. Good night. Yes, and we'll put all the details. Yes. We love you.
Thank you so much. And I found a home. I'll come on anytime.
All right.
Love to hear it. We will definitely have you back. We'll see you all next Monday at 7 p.m. Bye.
Thank you, Quida. Have a good day, Chap.